up on me like that. That's all of you can't do it. I'm not gonna let you do it. You can't roll up here like that. All familiar, nah, you ain't all familiar here. You ain't all familiar here. And it's not racism. Listen, man, let me tell you something. Everything is about, it's not racism in the world, but everything is about race. Do you see, even in America right now, do you see whites with blacks as a community? Do you see Asians with black people as a community? Do you see Asians with white people as a community? Do you see any race of community with another community? It's not happening. So all in all, there's still white neighborhoods, black neighborhoods, Mexican neighborhoods. They're not to merge together. You might have black people in Mexican neighborhoods. You might have white people in black neighborhoods. You might have black people in white neighborhoods, but there are not black and white communities per se. It's not. Where it's heavy black people and heavy white people, heavy Mexicans and heavy black, nah, ain't no neighborhoods like that. So all in all, we still separated. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's all, we're all, like when you go to prison, it ain't beef, but what you see, Mexicans with Mexicans, blacks with blacks, whites with whites, and Asians with Asians. That's prison. It ain't nowhere in the world, and even in prison, where everybody's together. That's why you can't be playing games, because everyone's not together. So what you wind up doing is causing race wars and problems. It's you. You start causing that, because ain't nobody together like that for you to even be doing it. Like we familiar, like, oh, you could just do that to somebody that's black. Nah, I look at this dude, he black. Why is you playing with him? Nah, we ain't trying to hear that. We ain't even together like that. So we ain't trying to hear that. Nah, I don't care who is together. They together. Those are individuals. If you see somebody individualized with you, that's them. But as a community in a culture, we're not really together. Let's keep it 100. That may be the goal to be together, but as of now, we're not. We're not. And you got to be 100 about that. And that means there is a tension that you need to be aware of. You need to be aware of that. You are never going to be black. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. Okay? You American, but you're not black. And so then I look at you like, well, if my tribe is not really with, I'm not really with you, tribe speaking wise, right? So then why are you looking at me like that? Now you see where I'm at with mine. That's where I'm at with mine. And I don't care if you judge me or not. I love all, I got a Mexican, I have people that's in my life that are Mexican. So you can't say it's that. But I'm trying to show you, if you rolling up and pulling up on somebody that's black, like as if it's just familiar like that, and you playing games, then you asking for a big problem, bruh. You asking for a big problem. 'Cause we don't see it like it's just humans and we just here and it's just like, no, that's how you see it. We don't see it like that when there's no reason for you to be here. That's what I'm saying. It's no reason for you to be around that person's life. That's how we see it. So if you get some smoke, it's because you gave it first. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. So I'm giving you a perfect example in my situation, how I see things. Racism is unprovoked. If I just look at you and don't like you, that's racism. If I just look at a Mexican, look at somebody, I don't like you, that's racism. But if you gave me a reason not to like you, you cannot sit here and feed people that it's racism. They just don't like you because of what you did. I just don't like you because of the things you do. That's not racism. It's to a specific race, and you try to run with that and make that racism. It's not that. It's the fact that you do certain things and you get what you get. That part. And ain't nobody can vouch for you. How? Because you should have knew the boundary. You should have. You just can listen to these Americans, American culture, and think, man, nobody don't owe you nothing. Listen, let me tell you something, man. If someone's minding their business and they ain't really confronting you, this is for anybody that's sitting around here crying about racism. Let me tell you something. If someone is not doing anything to you, they're not killing you, they're not saying anything to you, then, bro, you ain't got no choice but to fall back with common sense. Because nobody owes you anything. You feel like somebody owes you. That's how it's coming off. I don't owe you. I don't owe you anything. You know, I don't owe you camaraderie. I don't owe you friendship. I don't owe you alliance. I gotta go hard on this because people get goofy and silly. They do. They get goofy and silly. And they'll have other people sitting up thinking that person is a racist. Nah. Without considering all the stuff that they doing that you don't know about. So then it becomes like prison. Because in prison, if a Mexican goes and does something to a black guy, right? The black people find that offensive. It's a tension because of that. Now, you might see the black guy move differently, and you say, it seemed like he racist against Mexicans. But you don't know the politics of what happened. I'm saying if he was in prison. So you don't know what's been done to him, and now he's moving differently, and you say that's racism, and it's not. That part, bruh. So like, people that know me know I got a good heart. They know where I'm at. They know. I mean, it's obvious evidence of it. And I'm not gonna split any hairs. And I'm not sparing anybody. If you go to war with me, I'm going to war with you. I don't care what you think. I don't care about your opinion. I don't care. If you go to war with me, you can't call it racism when I strike back. That's for anybody. White people, black people, white people here in America. You play around with me, you do certain things. When you are attacked, you cannot say it's racism. You, out of everybody, the white tribe, you know how much wars you done started. You know how much wars you done started. So if somebody hates you, is it really racism? So if people hate the white tribe in America, all the stuff they done now, all the stuff these white people done, is it really racism? Or is it Pacific reasons because of a Pacific people? That's a 7. Boom. Well, you've been doing a lot. You've been doing a lot. You continue to do a lot. And you think people are racist, but hold up. Let's wait a minute. Let's go back a little bit. All the stuff you've been doing, you know what it is. Slavery, genocide of the Native Americans, continuing lynchings and police shootings, always ends up to be a white cop shooting a black person. Continuous racism in the politics, continuous racism just in general, always popping up. So is it really racism when you get, or is it when how people see you and deal with you? Is it really racism or is it hate that you cause on yourself? Let that be a blueprint for everybody else. All these other people crying about racism. Look at white people and what they've done, right? Look at the stuff they've done. Now, if somebody has a problem with them, would you really say it's racism? Would you really say that? No, I'm being real. I'm not being deceptive. Would you really say that though? Or would you feel more like it's real reasons why they got the hate they got? Is it real reasons why they got the hate they got, or is it racism? And so let that be a lesson. Learn from them. If you play with people, you will bring the hate on yourself just like the white people did. Learn from them and see the same thing can happen to you. You keep playing with people, you just like the white people. You playing with people, doing stuff, you bringing hate on yourself, talking about it's racism. That's for any other race, including black people. Learn from white people. If you play with people, you see what white people did. You keep playing with people, and then they start to hate you. You can't say that's racism. You can't say it. You can lie to yourself. You can lie to yourself, and you can do that, put that person in a million tests to see if it's racism. But the bottom line is, if you know they've been doing stuff, then you don't even need to test them. You already know why they hate them. And so when you know these politics out here on people like me, then you shouldn't even be questioning whether I'm a racist. You already know what's going on. You know the real energy behind this. You know the real energy behind this. Don't let them goofy people fool you. You know the real energy behind this. This is war, and these people playing games, and it's specific people. And if you're not familiar with me, and you let them white people use you, that part, you let them use you, and you play games, taking their money, let them use you, and you're not familiar with me, then it's offense. That's what it is. It's offense because you went and did what white people wanted you to do. You let the government use you against people like me, whether you be Mexican or black. You let the government use you, then don't cry when it's hate given back. Don't cry racism. No, you being used. You allowed yourself to be used, and you thought you was familiar enough with me, either as a black person or as an American. Because see, here it is with the black people. You gotta understand here in America. See, I don't mess with America. So see, you may feel you're familiar with me as a black person, but you're unfamiliar to me because you're American. That's a 7. Well, I got a boundary up. I got a boundary up between me and Americans. I don't deal with Americans. I don't deal with Americans. You understand? So when you try to get familiar with me on the black tip, it's a tension between me and America that you don't realize, because I have conflicts with them, and I'm more educated on their real nature with 44 states marrying children. So there's a tension between me and Americans, period, because I know their real nature. So when you come as a black person, you think and you try to be familiar, I have to check that because it's a boundary that I have because of the ignorance of Americans. It's an ignorance there that they don't know. 44 states married children, it's other stuff they don't know. The American government settled out of court in 1999 in December for conspiring against MLK. A lot of people don't know that. So there's so really no one, and so because I know this and I've walked this and lived this experience, I have an experience that you have not lived. I haven't experienced it in this education, and because of speaking about this information, I have an experience that you have not lived. Therefore, because we black, don't mean we got the same experience either. And then I find offense also because because I know where I'm at. And you shouldn't be trying to get familiar just on that level. Well, I'm educated on certain things about this country that I feel is just unbelievable that this whole country don't know about. So that being said, I find an offense when somebody black playing with me and I know I outrank you. Okay. Well, you trying to test me. You trying to test me and see where I'm at. And really, I'm more educated on your culture and people. Well, you got 44 states married children. I outrank everybody here. So why you testing me, in other words? So that's where the offense comes in. And you're doing that because you think me and you black and you can test me. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. And so that's what I'm saying. So is it really racism? No, it's because of the things that people do and bring on themselves, right? And then when you switch up, they saying you a sellout or you a racist. But you still have the right to do that as a human being. Ain't got nothing to do with racism. It got something to do with being a grown man and moving according to how you got to move. We got to understand these things, man, because people, they act here in America, act like they in high school. They go around spreading stuff, talking stuff. They don't have no idea what they talking about. They're not educated, half of them, no matter who they are, black, white, or whatever, they're not educated on their own country, and they sitting up trying to tell you who you are. Man, go fix your country, please. Go fix your country with 44 states, please. Please, before you try to play with me or try to see who I am, please do that and save yourself some dignity. Save yourself some self-respect. Go fix 44 states with child marriage before you try to see me. Okay? And ain't nothing else to talk about. I'm on top and they not. I just can't. Look, I said look, there it is in a nutshell. Ain't nothing else to talk about. I don't know why you're here. I really don't, because I don't know why these Americans walk around with their chests out. Why you got your chest out when you got 44 states with child marriage? Bruh, you ain't, listen, if you was somebody that tests people, if you was a community that did that, you can't do it no more. Because we know now who you are. You see what I'm saying? We know now that you do that. So how are you a committee over me? How are you able to think you can test me? Nah, bro. Go get your country together. Stop playing with me. That's where I'm at with mine. I can't speak for anybody else. But I refuse to let any Americans think they have the right to test me or see who I am or any. I really don't care what you think. When you got 44 states with child marriage. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's a joke. That's a joke to me. You ain't got no power here, bro. And either you the one that passed the laws or you the one that's ignorant of the laws. Okay, that's for the community. If you ignorant of the laws, why should I even respect you? Why should I be subject to you? Why? Yeah, you thought you wasn't the government. You thought because you was not part of the government and you're the community that you're safe. You're safe. You're not safe because you're uneducated. Well, you're uneducated to the point where you got 44 states with child marriage. Let me put it like this. You're uneducated about 44 states with child marriage. You're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Okay? That's what it is. So you're not free. So you're not able, in other words, to sit around and play games like you testing people and doing whatever you're doing. Whatever reason you're doing it, if it's for the money, I'ma easily burn through that. If you definitely only doing it for the money, I'ma definitely burn through that. I'ma burn through that. I promise you that. Because I'm like a Moses. I'm rising up with the faith of Moses. I'm rising up with the faith of my master. Jesus Christ said he could put 12 legions of angels on y'all, on people like you. That's my master. I put angels on you and destroy you. All of y'all. As many numbers of it that you are, we can destroy that. That's the difference. I don't need you. I only need the kingdom of God. I don't need you. That's what you got to understand. Like if anything pop off, God got me. God got me. I don't know about you, but he got me. I can't speak for nobody but myself at this point. That's what you got to understand. So I got to lay that all out, man, because people sit out here and play games and there ain't no love out here anyway. It ain't no love. Ain't nothing but perversion out here anyway. Ain't no purity out here in these streets. Why kids coming up raped all the time then? If you so in control of your community. That part. Kids coming up raped and missing all the time. If you so in control of your community. It's an image. It's an image that you try to create, that you try to portray that's not real. How can you actually be child how can you be child protectors when you got that situation? Bro, that's a big situation, bro. That's a big situation. And so, man, I don't want to personally hear anybody talking about racism in these deep degrees, and you ain't checking people that's killing your own people. Check that first. If a building was burning with people in it, I would go after the fire before I did anything else. The fire is, I will put out the fire first. The fire around your people is your people killing yourself. That's the fire around your people. You need to put that out first. That makes sense to me. If the ghetto was on fire, you're gonna put the fire out first, right? You ain't gonna try to go to Washington. I'm talking about as far as racism. You ain't gonna try to go to Washington, right? You're gonna try your best, your very, very best to put the fire out that's around your people. That's real. And for people that don't think you don't have the room to talk on it, as long as you're in America, you're here, you have room to talk on any of this. That's how I feel. Hey, you're here in America. This is my country as well. I can talk on anything that's here. I can talk on anything that's here. And I'm black on top of that. I could talk about it. But if I wasn't black, I still could talk on it being an American. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Now, it's one thing to talk on things, but like I said, people that are not experiencing, the black experience specifically, you shouldn't be talking about it. You shouldn't be talking about it. You could talk about it. You shouldn't be playing with black people. Because I look at it like this, okay? A person can have no experience with living in the black community, right? No experience at all, right? But common sense tell you that before you talk about racism, go stop. Please go talk about black on black crime. You don't need to live the black experience to say that. You don't need to live the black experience to talk about, well, I think I'm not the smartest man in the world, but doesn't it seem like that's the greatest problem that you have right now? I don't have to live it to see it. I don't have to live nothing to know that. Okay? Now that's what I mean when I'm talking about you being American and you being here. You have the right to see that and talk on that like that. That's real. That's real. If you're well-meaning, you have the right to point that out as an American. But for people that come and press up on the black man, you pressing up on them and everything, you challenging them, you playing psychological games out here in these streets. That's what I'm talking about. You don't have the right to do that. You already know what he's going through. You already see the oppression of the black experience. You bring offense on yourself, which is not racism. That's not racism. You brought that on yourself. Playing around the black man that you shouldn't be playing, like that you really are not really familiar with by experience. You don't relate to that. And it's the worst, it's one of the worst the roughest paths to walk. So although you may be able to talk about the things here, as an American, like I said, I feel I have the right to speak on these things as an American. That's common sense things, right? Yes, you have the right, but you don't have the right to be running around playing physical, psychological games out here in these streets with the black people like me. You don't like no Mexicans. I don't feel that. I don't feel that. No, I don't feel that. Because you don't live the same experience and you already know what the black person is going through. And really the reason why you're doing it is because you think we all American and everything like that. Nah, you need to back up, because last time I checked, being black, that's the roughest path at face value. It's the roughest path that's here in America. You need to respect that. And if you don't, what's going to happen is somebody's going to devour you, because they ain't going to have the patience like I do. They ain't going to have no patience. They're going to feel like you ain't even part of what I experienced at all. And I don't see you as having lived the same experience. So that's the difference. You can be American, talk on these issues and things like that, but don't challenge people you shouldn't be challenging, because that's where you're out of pocket. And you can't say it's racism when that happens, when you bring the hate on yourself. So I just want to clear that up and make that clear, because I know I got a little jumbled a little bit, but I wanted to make those two things clear. People can talk about things as Americans, all of that. That's cool, but don't be out here, playing with people, and then when they hit you back with the hate, then you be like, yo, that person's racist. Nah, that person is not racist. It's a reason why. It's a reason why, and that's all that matters. That's what matters most, is the reasons. If it's unprovoked, they just hate you for no reason, yes, that's racism. But if you know in your heart of hearts, you've been playing games, and or somebody else been playing games, then you know what that hate is about. You know what it's about. So then you're lying to yourself to say it's racism. You lying to yourself. You lying to yourself when you know they've been playing games. You lying to yourself when you know that person's name is out here in black politics and in Mexican politics. And then you're lying to yourself when you think that it's racism that he has. No, you already know his name is in politics. That should tell you right there it's been going on for a certain amount of time. Which means you don't know what happened. Which could have brought on the way that person carries themselves. That's just, it don't take a lot to think about this. You ain't got to be highly intelligent to think about this. It's just understanding certain things. You may not articulate it like me, but you understand what I'm saying. If stuff been going on for a certain amount of time, you know this stuff been going on, all this crazy stuff. I don't think that person's racist. I think that person is going through drama. And it's a Pacific people, so that's why it's coming off like that. That's why it's coming off like that. And you can sit, like I said, you can sit up here and act like you don't understand that or you don't want to understand. And that's when God's going to step in. Because you really don't know anyway what's